Hello everyone and welcome back to BIMMERHEAD. It's been a long time since I posted on YouTube, but I'm excited to say that now I can go ahead and start a new project. And the new project is gonna be the 550i BMW F10. We moved property and now this is the home of BIMMERHEAD. I quickly put together a workbench, a storage shelf, and now we can get into repairing this 550i. I know about this car that it's a non-runner. It has a big problem with the engine. I don't know exactly what, but we definitely need to pull the engine. The X3 is my daily, and I will tell you more about that in a different video. But for this video, we are focusing on the 550i. The rear bumper was missing. I was able to find the second-hand one, just a different shade of color, but it will be painted anyway. Other than that, the car looks very good on the outside. I'm really excited to start working on it. And before we can do that, we have to give it a quick wash because these particles of sand that are on the car can scratch the paint a lot. But let's have a quick look at the interior as well. This is the M Sport package from the factory. It's only 50,000 miles and it does look really good. It's a little bit dirty, but it looks good for what this car is. It's not fully loaded, but it has some really interesting options. I don't like the wood trim. I think we will take care of that once the car is running, but for now it's fine. Let's have a quick look under the bonnet and let me show you what we have to work with. As you can see, there are quite a few parts missing. Some of them are in the trunk of the car and some of them are completely missing. But no problem, since the engine needs to come out anyway, we'll find out exactly what we need once we have a good working engine to put back in. For now, this is the state it is in and I'm happy with what I have. If it wasn't broken, I wouldn't have this car. I have to tell you, I'm really excited about this car. I always dreamt about having one. Now I do have this car. It doesn't run. I don't know how it feels, if the power is good or not, because I've never drove one before. And I'm really excited to have this one fixed up so that I can experience it for myself. Now I'm gonna use the X3 to pull the car into position and hopefully roll it downhill into the garage. I'm gonna hold it slowly with the strap so that it doesn't go too fast and uncontrollable. It's almost 2 tons, so it's difficult to deal with this alone, but I have this X3 that helps me a lot with the process. As you can see, I'm going back and forth quite a lot because I like to be careful not to lose control of the 5 series and create more damage. And so little by little it goes where it needs to go. I was hoping that it would move a lot easier on its own weight downhill, but since I was steering the car to the right, trying to adjust it to the garage entrance, it wouldn't go downhill very easy. So I had to push quite a few times, but then it finally started to roll downhill. It was a little bit difficult to get it over the edge of the garage. There is a little bit of a step and it had to be pushed a little bit. The front wheels went over the bump quite easy, but the back wheels, as you can see, really difficult because all of the weight is on those wheels since the front end is up. Now, a radical idea was to just pull it out and just release the tension so that the car rolls down on its own weight, and it did work. So I'm really happy about that. The car is in the garage now. We can start working on it. Let's have a quick look around. Let's see if I would have enough space around it. I have to make sure that everything is where it needs to be, because once I get it up in the air, I won't be able to move it anymore. It looks like I have enough space in front of the car in order to remove the engine and move it throughout the garage. There are some scratches like this, but I think this will polish out. And scratches, they're a little bit deeper. We'll see what we can do about that. It's just put in place just like that. It's not completely mounted. It was just to see if it will fit. Of course, there's like little scratches on the surface, but not bad. Like this, with a really good polish, this would look really good. On the interior, this looks good. It's dirty, but not terrible. I've seen a lot worse than this. This is okay. The only concern I have is with this smudge, the purple, blue, whatever smudge here. I don't know what this is. It looks like some type of paint, but hopefully it will come out. We'll do something nice with the interior. Let's see. This is called service position, so you can work without hitting your head on these. Now this engine needs to come out all together. I don't want to try and fix it on the car. I want to take it out and fully rebuild it, just touch every bolt and make sure everything works. As you can see, there's some stuff missing like this here, and this, it's different, and there's clear signs that this was worked on and then just put together really fast. So I'm expecting really bad damage on this engine. We might have to buy a new engine. We'll see. But it's a complete engine, so we'll take it apart, see what the damage is, and we'll take it from there. If we need to buy a second engine, then I'll find an option. But I still want to rebuild this engine because it has 50,000 miles on it. Something went really bad, but the other parts on it, they're not really bad since only 50,000 miles. So if I can, I want to rebuild this one. We'll see. Now I'm gonna have to disconnect all the hoses, all the pipes, everything that is connected to the chassis from the top portion, and then lift it up on the jacks and disconnect the subframe. I think I need to take the subframe out, and then I should be able to take it out. But the subframe might be okay to stay in if I can reach all the bolts. Hopefully we can, and I don't have to remove the subframe, because that in itself is a little bit of a job when you're crawling on the floor. Yeah, let's start. I'm starting by lifting the car up in the air just to give me ease of access in the engine bay. I will start from the top and then under the car, but having the car up in the air, it's a lot easier to work on. I'm starting by removing the plastic covers on the side. They're not really necessary to remove, but I like to have access to everything, all the bolts, and I don't think that they're hiding anything important for the removal of the engine, but it's best to do it so that you're not damaging those beauty covers, as they call them. While I'm removing these engine parts, I like to take some pictures when I know it's going to be complicated to put back together, and this way I make sure that I can go back and see how they work. I'm removing the coolant reservoir and the secondary coolant reservoir as well. As you can see, I'm removing the intercoolers first. They will create a lot of space between the engine and the radiator. Both throttle bodies need to come out. It's probably okay to leave them in, but I don't want to damage them, so it's just 4 bolts, easy to take out, so why not? The fan shroud can easily come out as well, so that will give me even more space when the engine needs to be pulled. I'm trying to manage these hoses as best as I can. I don't want to remove unnecessary parts. It's gonna make it a lot easier to put all of it back together if they're connected to one end. Some of them do need to be disconnected all the way, but some of them can stay connected to the car. So this way, when you put the engine back in, you kind of see where they are supposed to connect to. Because of their length and their curvature, you would kind of anticipate where it will go. It's a lot easier to put it back together. Everything that's connected to the chassis from the engine has been disconnected. So the aircon lines are gonna stay on the chassis, the wiring, all of that, the ECU, everything looks like it's ready. It's still connected to the engine mounts and the gearbox, but that's probably what I need to do next. They don't need to be snagged, so they need to come this way. Under the car, I'm starting by removing the heat shield so that I can access the gearbox wire harness that needs to be disconnected because it's connected. It doesn't have a connection on the engine side, so it will have to come out with the engine wire harness. I'm trying to disconnect the torque converter from the engine side by turning the engine little by little and reaching those bolts through the access hatch, but unfortunately the engine doesn't turn all the way, so I can only reach 2 bolts, and that's not enough. And so I moved to removing the bell housing bolts. This way I can remove the engine with the torque converter. It's a little bit more difficult that way, but this is the only option I have right now. When you're pulling the engine, just make sure you're doing it slowly because you have to check everything around. Here I'm checking all the wires that might be trapped, the hoses that are still connected, and trying to look under the engine as well while it comes up to see if I forgot something. And in this case I did forget some things, and I was able to disconnect them without breaking anything. And finally the engine was completely clear, and I could just lift it on top of the front bumper and move it out of the way. Forgot to disconnect this, which I believe it's an oil cooler line, and then I forgot to disconnect the AC line, which luckily was already discharged. I hope there isn't a problem with it, but we'll find that at the right moment. For now, this engine bay needs a really good clean. Now this is a very happy moment for me because I can access everything around the engine now. I can take it apart and find out exactly what went wrong. And I'm assuming this engine has problems with the timing chain, because you can hear when you try to turn it, you can hear the chain getting caught up and it's probably broken or something like that. But we'll see that in the next episode, because for now I will celebrate this victory. We got the engine out, it's on the engine stand, and we'll deal with the rest in the next video to come. Now I want to thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown.